This is a clavichord that is modeled after the clavichord that Johann Sebastian Bach owned his whole life until he sadly had to part company with it late in life and gave it to his son Carl Philipp. At which time Bach wrote a magnificent piece of music, Abschied, for the Silberman clavichord. And Bach certainly could have had any clavichord that he ever wanted. I'm sure there were many clavichord builders that would just give him one to hear their instrument played by such a great improviser. And Bach went to the church every day, or probably every day, and played the magnificent organ that was so fantastically loud and beautiful. And then at night, late into the hours, this is how soft a clavichord can play. It can make more volume than that, of course. Bach's love affair with the clavichord produced the English suites, the French suites, the partitas, and on and on and on, even the well-tempered clavier. But the pieces, the suites, the French suites and English suites and so on and so forth, they weren't written for well temperament. They were written for mean tone, quarter comma, mean tone temperament. It was, the well temperament meant that the instrument was so well tempered that you could play in all of the keys. It didn't mean that all of the keys sounded alike, like one major key sounded the same as the next major key and so on. They all had a character, but the way it was received by music lovers when the well temperament replaced the mean tone temperament was that now, because of the fact that all of these keys are accessible, this must be equal temperament, which it wasn't. So the well-tempered clavier is not the equal-tempered clavier. This instrument, I made it, and my inspiration for making this instrument was I wanted to hear Bach's music played on the instrument that he conceived the music on. And I was lucky to get the plans from the Karl Marx Museum in Germany for this instrument, and it took more than a couple of years to make it. It wasn't a walk in the park, as they say, because you have to make the keys, and then you have to make the key tops, and you have to make the raised keys and make the arcades, these little parts underneath there, and then the case parts, the lid and so on. This wood is 4 panels of California redwood veneer on both sides. This is cherry that is really right from Wisconsin, probably cut in 1960, all air dried. The trim on this instrument is red palea wood. It's very beautiful, and there was just enough to do the trim and the key tops, which are very beautiful. The soundboard is Italian spruce from Italy, and the strings are all brass, and it's one of the amazing things that a keyboard would have metal hitting metal. Brass is hitting a brass string. The clavichord was his closest personal musical friend, and I'd like to demonstrate a couple of pieces that he wrote. Some of these pieces have later on in the last 40, 50 years been attributed to other musicians, but they appeared in a book that was copied by Anna Magdalena Bach, his second wife, and this music was heard in the Bach household, probably daily on violin, on clavichord, perhaps on harpsichord, and it was the original Bach family fake book, you might say. And late into the evenings, I believe after all 19 children or however many there were tucked into bed, I think Bach went to the clavichord and played. So one of the things that I like to illustrate, and I'm a very modest clavicordist. I really play the Baroque lute, Renaissance lute, and classical guitar. Those are my main instruments. But my love for the clavichord and my love for building the clavichords and my love of playing the clavichord every evening before bed is so much a part of me that I really have to say that without that, in some ways, so much of life is so harsh. And it really softens so much, especially during these COVID times, because with the clavichord, you're kind of drawn in, and there's an intimacy with this instrument that you can experience with no other keyboard instrument. And part of that is heightened when you are the only person in the room with the instrument. The clavichord is, many people have said, is your personal teacher. And pianists that play clavichord on a daily basis are better pianists because of the clavichord. And one of the reasons is that the touch is very shallow compared to a piano. And you have the responsibility of playing your instrument in tune, which with the piano you don't. So your responsibility for playing the clavichord in tune means that if you press hard on the keys, you stretch the string too much. And the other thing is that as you strike the key in slow motion, you can see that as soon as the tangent hits the string, it recoils and it's referred back into your hand. One of the aspects of why is it such a good teacher is that it opens you up for all sorts of interpretations in the music that may not come to you with the piano. Or well, thank you. So these are two pieces by Johann Sebastian Bach, or pieces from the Anna Magdalena Bach book.